session. We do have a quorum of 5, so let's call this meeting to order. You all received your email. Approval of your minutes is what we're looking for next. Everybody was able to read those? Any
Yes.
questions, concerns, edits? None? All right, I'll ask for a motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
So moved.
Second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? All right. Julie was saying no old business to manage, so new business, we've got 2 items. Item number 1 is a 202304 special use permit. Conduct public hearing for case number 202304 SUP. That's at 113 Seneca Street. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow a 2-family dwelling in the CBD, Central Business District. 2-family dwellings are allowed in the CBD zoning district with the approval of special use permit. Staff?
Okay, before we start, I just wanted to introduce Bethany Falvey. I don't think she was here at our last meeting. Bethany is our city planner, who came on in October. I can't remember if she has been at any of our planning commission meetings. I think she's been at least one with some of you. But so Bethany will be handling the first item, so.
Oh, she's been at the historical.
Yeah, she's been at the preservation meetings. All the meetings end up running together in my head, and I can't keep track of who's met who after a
Me
few months.
too.
She's already an icon.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Bethany, do it.
113 Seneca Street, they're seeking a 2-family dwelling in CBD. It's also in the downtown redevelopment overlay district, and that is allowed with a special use permit. The structure has evidence of previously functioning as a 2-family dwelling at some point based on separate entrances and electrical boxes, but has been vacant for at least 2 years. Previously, the structure was considered an existing legal non-conforming use. When a non-conforming use is abandoned for a period of 24 consecutive months, any subsequent use or occupancy of land after this period shall comply with regulations, and that's why they're here today. The applicant intends to renovate and restore the structure to include new electrical, plumbing, HVAC, walls, ceilings, doors, windows, fixtures, cabinetry, and flooring. There are 4 findings we need to review for the special use permit. The proposed special use complies with all applicable provisions of this ordinance. Staff believes that this application applies with all provisions of City of Leavenworth development regulations. The proposed special use at the specified location will contribute and promote the economic development, welfare, or convenience of the public. Currently, the property is vacant. If approved, the property will fill a need in the community by providing a 2-family housing option. Restoring the property to its previous use will continue to fill that need. The special use will not cause substantial injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood in which it is located. Staff does not feel that the proposed use will cause any substantial injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood. And the location and size of special use, the nature and intensity of the operation involved in or conducted in connection with, and the location of the site with respect to streets giving access to it are such that the special use will not dominate the immediate neighborhood so as to prevent development and use of neighboring property in accordance with the applicable zoning district regulations. No new structures or building modifications are proposed as part of this special use permit. The property will continue to function as it did previously. Notification was sent, and since then, we have not received any comments or inquiries. I'm happy to answer any questions, and we do have the applicant here for questions.
Great. So still, as of this was sent on Friday, still as of today, there was no other comments sent in?
Nope.
No other inquiries? Okay. And we do have someone from the community. Who is it?
Did you want to speak to the? Sure. Any questions? Please go up to the podium.
All right. She's coming up. I'll get with her. Any questions of staff before we get started with this?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
The structure next door to it, is it currently being used as multifamily? The one on the right?
Yes, it's been in continued use.
It's a legal non-conforming use?
Yes.
Any other questions of staff? All right. Ma'am, if you'll state your name and your address.
Yes.
And then share with us what you have.
Yeah, my name is Emma Njoku, and address is 601 Cottonwood Drive in Lansing.
Okay. All right. Want to talk to us a little bit about your property and your plans?
Yeah, so the 113 Seneca has been vacant. I mean, it's literally an eyesore, right, for the community. It was broken down to stud. The previous owner was in the midst of renovation that just did not happen. So we are trying to bring it back to some sort of functional use. And essentially to meet a need for the military community, which my husband and I belong. And we figured that would be, it'll be incredible for incoming service members who just need a place that's worth being in, right? So it's, by the time it's done, it'll be a brand new house essentially. All the new windows will be replaced, all new windows, doors, fascias, everything, landscaping, so we just want to be able to do that.
Thank you for doing that. Commissioners, any questions?
I have a quick question. What's your estimated time to have it completed?
Thank you for the question. So we had to put a pause because we needed a special use permit to continue. But we hope to have it ready for rent by 1 May. So, I mean, we've been sort of trying to do the most we can, given that we don't have the special use permit to continue. So we've actually remained stagnant in the last 30 days pending this meeting. And we probably wouldn't be able to continue until everything with the special use is resolved, most likely in the second week of April. So right now we are sort of at a standstill because we cannot move forward, but the moment we have the okay, our contractors can continue doing the work where they're left off. So we're hoping to be done by May, 1 May.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
When did you start this process?
We purchased the property in August, and I have to admit there was a failure of, I guess, not knowing that it required a special use permit. We were told that it already met the requirements for multifamily, and that's how it was sold. So, unbeknownst to us, I think right when we were getting ready to get the permit for inspection, we were told that we had to stop and cease until special use. So it's been a long, painful, expensive process for us. So we had to stop in December, and then we're hoping to continue next month.
Anything else? Questions? You may have a seat, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you for your time. All right. Commissioners, you know the options that we have?
Do you want to just
Public-
open a public hearing?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, no, you're fine.
Public hearing? Anyone? Nothing said. Always forget that. All right.
We rarely have anybody come
That's
to
all
a
right.
public
We
hearing, so.
typically know when we do, though.
You'll know when there's somebody here.
All right. So we can take a motion to recommend approval to the city commission to include the conditions. We can have the motion to recommend denial to the city commission, or we can table this issue for additional information consideration. I'll take a motion.
I move that a special use permit be granted or recommended to the
All right.
commission for
I'll second
113
that.
Seneca.
All right. There's a recommendation approval to the city commission. There's a second. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
Julia, that's unanimous.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Just click that off. That will- that's it. Okay. Okay, so the next one is a rezoning request for 3523 10th Avenue. This is a request to rezone the property from RMF, which is residential multifamily, to R19, which is medium density, single family residential district. The property is currently owned or occupied by one single family home. The properties to the north of it are also zoned RMF, and so we, as best as we can tell, when the zoning was originally placed in the city back in the 70s, RMF was just placed on this property. It's never been developed with any multifamily properties. There's never been any plans for multifamily properties. When zoning occurred in the 70s, it was not always the most logical sequence, and so now we get to clean up some of these irregularities. So the owner is requesting the rezoning just to bring it in line again with the actual use of the property to help prepare it for sale. There tend to be some lending issues when a property is not zoned for what it's actually being used for, so we're just getting that cleaned up. So, and again, there is no proposed development or building or anything as part of this rezoning request. So we'll just go through the conditions of determination. Whenever the planning commission or city commission takes action on an application, we have to take a look at the golden criteria, so I'll just go through those. The first is the character of the neighborhood. The property is 2.8 acres in size and is located on 10th Avenue, just south of Gatewood Street. There's a mix of uses nearby, including another single family, multifamily, a mobile home park, and Richard Warren Middle School campus across 10th Street to the west. The next is the zoning and uses of properties nearby. The properties directly to the north, again, are zoned RMF, residential multifamily, and are developed with single-family homes. Further to the north is the Pin Oak Acres apartment complex, which is zoned PUD, or planned unit development. The property to the east is zoned MP, which is mobile home park district, and is developed with the Woodmore Court mobile home park. The property directly to the south is zoned R19, medium density single family residential, and is vacant and is currently owned by the city of Leavenworth. Properties further to the south are also zoned R19 and are occupied by single family homes. And then the property to the west across 10th is zoned R19 and is occupied by the Richard Warren Middle School campus. The next is the suitability of the subject property for the uses to which it has been restricted. The property again is occupied by a single family home and has been identified as appropriate for single family uses on the future land use plan. So we would not anticipate this being appropriate for any other type of use. The next is the extent to which removal of the restrictions will detrimentally affect nearby property. The proposed rezoning should have no detrimental effect upon surrounding properties, as there is no development proposed as part of the rezoning request, so nothing will change. The next is the length of time the subject property has remained vacant as zoned. The property is not vacant, again, it is occupied by one single family home. The next is the relative gain to economic development, public health, safety, and welfare by the reduction of the value of the landowner's property as compared to the hardship imposed by such reduction upon the individual landowner. The proposed rezoning will have a neutral impact on economic development, public health, safety, and welfare, as again, there is no development proposed as part of the rezoning request. The next is the recommendation of permanent or professional staff. Staff does recommend approval of the rezoning request. The next is the conformance of the requested change to the adopted or recognized comprehensive land use plan. The area is identified again as appropriate for single-family uses on the comprehensive land use plan, so that is in line with that. And then the final is any other factors that may be relevant to a particular proposed amendment, and there are no other factors that we would note. Staff did send the required public notice to property owners within 200 feet, as is required by Kansas statute. We did have one call from a property owner just clarifying which property was being rezoned. Once we clarified that, they had no comment or concerns with it, and we have received no other comments other than that. So if you have any questions, I can answer those for you, and the property owner is here as well.
Any questions of staff? Julie? You all been able to drive by that property and see it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
To the south, to the north? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. No questions? We'll open this up to the public.
Yep.
And we're happy to hear if you've got anything to add as the owners.
No.
I think they've covered it all for you. All right, thank you. Anyone else here? Nope. All right, then commissioners, any questions of the owners? Okay. Nothing? Pretty straightforward, all right. The actions that we have, recommend approval of the rezoning request from RMF to R19 to the city commission. 2, we can recommend denial of the rezoning request from RMF to R19 to the city commission, or we can table this issue for additional information consideration. I'll take a motion.
I'll do a motion to recommend approval of the rezoning request from RMF to R19 to the City Commission for property 3523 10th Avenue.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
None opposed.
Okay, thank you, and then this will go to city commission for final approval. And do we have a March? No, it's March,
Yes.
April.
April we do.
Okay, we do have we do have an April meeting, with a few items on that. So we will send out reminders and
What's the date on that?
the,
The guy coming from California.
oh yes, we
First
do, Michelle's gonna send out, her email reminders a little bit early because one of the applicants is going to fly in from California to be here. We've let him know that he doesn't necessarily have to do that he could call in or something, but he would like to be here in person for that. So we just wanna make sure we'll be able to give him plenty of notice, that we have a quorum.
It's
So,
April 3rd.
April 3rd. Yep.
And I do recall at our last meeting a couple months back that you needed verification from those whose tours end.
Want to be recorded.
Right. So
Yes.
who all?
And you don't have to, we will send out a reminder, we'll double check and email tomorrow. We'll just let everybody know their term expirations. Obviously, it's hard for us to remember off the top of our
Yeah,
head too,
I
so.
just know that
It's
that's
good
coming because
reminders
I know
for
we
us
missed
as
2
well.
months.
So yes, we'll send out an email tomorrow with everybody's term expirations and, anybody who's up this spring. We can see if you want to be reappointed or roll off. So other than that, we've got nothing else for discussion tonight.
I appreciate your time. This meeting is adjourned. Thanks.
All right, thank you all.